Yeah, well, I guess right off the bat we'll talk about Thursday. I guess Thursday night. I went down to Caroline's Comedy Club to go see the great Artie Lang. He was down there, as was Russ Maneve, who I have not seen in a while, and I always like Russ. He's a funny guy and real fun to hang out with. And my God, who else was down there? There were quite a few people. Steve Grillo was down there. We all decided after Artie was done, we were going to all hook up at the Comedy Cellar. So we all went down there and hung out at the bar. We were having a grand time down there. A lot of people hanging out. Good time. And then, oh my God, Jon Stewart comes in. You know Jon from The Daily Show. He, I guess, does sets. I guess he does stand-up. I don't know. So he goes downstairs. We're all upstairs. He goes downstairs and does his set and comes back upstairs. And we're hanging out at the bar, just fucking. Russ is an animal. It's just a lot of fun. And Steve Grillo was there with his girl. We were just laughing our balls off. I was there with Missy. Great time. So I guess Jon and Steve were familiar with each other because they shook hands. Like Steve was like, "Hey, Jon." So then he's standing right there, and we look at each other. So I put my hand out. I'm like, "Hey, Jon." He goes, "I'm not shaking your hand, you fucking piece of shit." Like, well, my reputation precedes me, I gather. Yeah, he says, "I'm not shaking your hand, you're a piece of shit." And I was like, "Excuse me? What?" I go, "What's your problem?" "Hey, bud, what's your problem?" "Hey, you're tearing my card." It's so ridiculous because, look, I even see this, where two men not quite in fighting age or shape, to be quite honest. Anytime you're in an altercation with another guy, when you're well past the halfway point in your life, I just consider it embarrassing. It really is. So, the thought of any kind of fisticuffs wasn't even I wasn't thinking in those terms. But I was curious as to why I was a piece of shit. So I asked him, what's his fucking problem? And he said, you fucking talk shit about me. You talk a lot of shit about me. I honestly, at that point, I went, how long have you been in this business? Are you new to this whole thing? Didn't you have a show and stuff? You don't know how this works? Oh, no, I know how it works, but, you this, that. I was like, yeah, I have a show, too. And that's what I do. Oh, so it's fake? That's what he says. Oh, so it's fake? You come over you to my face, you say it's fake, but I was like, no. I respect what you do. I respect that you held down a popular show for quite a while. I think your political ideology is utter shit. And that's what I talk about. But then again, that's one man's opinion. But then you call me a piece of shit. And then I pointed out, I go, oh, and by the way, I know you've shook hands with people who have literally killed other people. Literally killed other people. Some hip-hop artists and whatnot. How about his good friend Anthony Weiner? There's plenty of pictures of him shaking hands with fucking pedo Anthony Weiner. Won't shake my hand, motherfucker. Go fuck your mother. So there were a lot of fuck yous and shit going back and forth at that point. And Noam, who owns the place, the cellar, he comes up and he's like nervous. He's very nervous Because Jon Stewart's like one of the big stars that come in, you know? That's like, oh, who's dropping in to do a set? Who's dropping in so two other fucking up-and-coming comics won't get stage time? Who just decided to show up so two fucking comics won't be able to do any spots that night? And John's one of those guys, so Noam, you know, he got a little, like, nervous. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to hit him. No one's hitting people. We're two adults having a conversation. Why is that a thing? Why is that something that has to be looked at as some, like, we better stop this. Put John here and this'll. It's like, who gives a shit if two dopes want to fucking yell at each other in a goddamn comedy club? Holy shit. People have gotten so oversensitive. It's crazy. Can't even just bitch to each other, call each other assholes in a bar. What the fuck has happened to men in this country? So, yeah, it went off for a while, and then Jon Stewart was like, he was, all right, look, I probably shouldn't have said that, or, not shaking your hand. All right. So he shakes my hand. I'm like, all right, whatever. Good night. That was that. I go back to the bar, and he goes to his table with his posse, Aziz Ansari, and a little collection of beta males that, they're going to discuss how they could help feminists. That's what they're going to do. They're going to discuss that would cutting our dicks off help feminism? And if so, bring us a knife. That was the discussion at their table. So I go back to the bar, and we're all kind of laughing at the whole fucking thing, how ridiculous it is. And then, the next day, it's like in, what was that, Radar Online or something like that? Oh, you got it? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a picture of Jon Stewart having an epic swearing match at New York Comedy Club. Whoa, bad blood between the two comics. What? I'm not even a comic. Spills over. Oh. Jon Stewart and Anthony had an epic swearing match at New York Comedy Club. Radar Online can reveal. They can reveal it. What? It was in public. What are they revealing? Earlier in the evening, Artie Lang, yeah. And the spat was witnessed by several famous comedians, including Howard Stern's sidekick, Artie Lang. Howard Stern's he's still Howard's sidekick? Yeah, this article is just horrifically written. Earlier in the evening, Lang, 49, performed at Caroline's as he recovers from recent surgery. That they can reveal, Radar Online can reveal that he recovered from surgery. Chest infection following years of drug abuse. Like it's old fucking. Star Comics, Judah Freelander, Dave Attell, Aziz Ansari were also at the Cellar. Yes, they were. But the fun atmosphere quickly turned sour when Stewart, 54, stood up for a surprise performance, but not before he got into a swearing match with Opie and Anthony's Cumia. That is ridiculous. Opie and Anthony's Cumia. By the way, he had already done his set. He was done with his set. He was upstairs. He was finished. When Cumia, 56, they got a year off. It's nice. Went to shake the former talk show's hand. He was met with Stewart firing expletives at him. I wouldn't shake your fucking hand if you paid me, Stewart roared. Roar! This line was my favorite. Cumia, being held back by his girlfriend and former Howard Stern alum Steve Grillo, yelled. So apparently my girlfriend is Steve Grillo. That's how it reads. By his girlfriend and former Howard Stern alum Steve Grillo. Steve Grillo yelled, I wouldn't expect less from you phony fucking Hollywood asshole. That was funny, by the way. Grillo did say that, even though he's not my girlfriend. And it's so funny. Like, my girlfriend was not holding me back. There was no holding back because it started very much like, hey, what the? Like, the bar was to my back. Jon Stewart was in front. And Grillo kind of, and I'm like, hey, oh, shit. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck? So I walked away from the bar, closer to him, and then we were kind of leaning against one of the tables there. Like I was leaning on a chair. And that's when, they thought a big fight was going to ensue. But according to eyewitnesses, the two men almost came to blows. Yeah, we almost blew each other. They traded insults with one another before Cumia left the venue and Stewart took the stage. Like I said, he was already... Cumia tweeted afterwards, I may have just gotten into a little discussion with Jon Stewart at the Cellar. We're not fans of each other. That's pretty much the most accurate assessment of it. Look, we're not fans of each other. We had a little fucking... Cumia is known to be a Republican-leaning... Take it easy, man. Is known to be a Republican-leaning... a Republican-leaning. That's interesting. And Stewart is a hardcore liberal. We pay for juicy info. Oh, I wonder who made fucking $3.70 off that story. Are you kidding me? I was like, I was laughing about it because it was so dopey that we would even get into anything like that. Whatever. Jon Stewart is a fucking asshole. I'll say that. Of course, you know what he is. He's a bleeding heart liberal. Some people love him because of that. Some people hate him because of that. We've definitely divvied ourselves up into a few sides here in this country. And liberal and conservative are on two different ends of the spectrum, and the hatred between the two groups at an all-time high, I would say. So my reaction in these situations is a little friendly chit-chat. Jon Stewart's, the liberals, the tolerant liberals, always end up like this. Fuck you, I'm not going to shake your hand. Fuck this guy, he shouldn't have a job. This guy doesn't deserve freedom of speech. It's like, are you shitting me? That's where we're at? This is the progressive left, the ones that, would sit around a table and exchange ideas. That's gonzo, that shit. Gone. Now, I don't want to hear from him. I don't want to shake his hand. Don't talk to him. Nice. Good. And he didn't understand that when you have a show, you'll talk a lot. You'll badmouth people for being, not agreeing with you. It doesn't mean it's fake, but it is a show. You're gonna put it over the top. That's how it goes. He should understand that. Does he do that mugging for the camera thing every day in his private life? When he sees something on the news, does he just go and then wait for people to look at him? You're doing a show. Fucking asshole. Yeah, I did not get close to even a fight. I don't fight. I will not be punching anybody. It's so ridiculous to even think. Could you imagine tiny little Jon Stewart and like fucking me just like fighting like this in the cellar? Judah pulling me off of him. Aziz with Jon Stewart trying to, like two little midgets pulling each other away. So silly. So silly. Everything can be solved with our words and our talking. If, people are willing to do that. But it doesn't seem like a lot of people are willing to talk anymore. It's everything's got to be taken to the umpteenth level. Yeah, kick his ass. I was reading that, too, on Twitter. You kick his ass, Anthony. Should have punched him in the mouth. Really? Why? Why would I punch Jon Stewart in the mouth? Would be great, though. Think it'd be subs? Think I'd have gotten subs out of it? I don't know. I think I'd have gotten in trouble. I think if either of us would have resorted to fists, it would have been an ugly scene legally. Not there. Oh, man, that would have been an ugly fight. You know, litigation later would have been very ugly. The court case. Yeah, but I don't care what Jon Stewart does. I don't care what he says, whatever. But I just took it as a little odd that he wouldn't even shake my fucking hand. Like I'm that big a fucking piece of shit. That's what gets me. It's like, I'm that big a piece of shit? Yeah. I used to love when the news would talk about the O&A show when we got fired or something like that. And they're like, you could see the disgust on the news anchor's face. I hope, and sometimes they'd go through the story and go, and they have subsequently been fired from the company. And then they turn to their partner and go, I bet their parents are proud. And I'd watch it and I'd be like, you just did a show, a newscast about a guy that like raped and murdered a child. And you didn't even judge that motherfucker. Straight face, no judgment on him. I'm just getting the facts of the story out. This man allegedly did these things, and he has been arrested and blah. But Anthony, you fucking assholes. Like they really? You're going to cast judgment on me, Jon Stewart. But there he is, shaking hands with the likes of Anthony Weiner. And some hip-hop artists who are known to have committed heinous crimes. But, I do a show. And he was mad that I called him names. And then I did say at some point, I said, I go, that's how you liberals think all the time. And he's like, oh, us liberals. Like, yeah, you liberal. Why? You can't just throw your hands up and go, because that's not an argument. It's not a fucking argument. Talk to Alex. Alex, what's up, man?
Hey, was Jon Stewart just trying to get on stage to get trying to be a comic, or do you think that he was trying to test his chops as a comic just to get attention or something? I don't know.
No, I understand what you're saying though, and yeah, I think Jon Stewart is trying to make the rounds as a comic. And I guess, is that what he did years ago? I never remember seeing him do stand-up, and if I did, I guess it wasn't that memorable back then. His forte seemed to be when he got into television and did The Daily Show. I guess.
I remember when he was on Half Baked, and he was like, have you ever seen a $5 bill on weed? And I thought he was funny from that.
Oh, right, the on weed bit. Right.
Yeah.
On weed? Yeah. I remember that. Thank you, Alex. All good. Yeah, I went downstairs during his set to take a piss. At the Cellar, you got to go all the fuck the way downstairs, literally walk in front of the stage. It's the dumbest fucking arrangement I've ever seen in a place, but that I guess that's the charm of it. You're upstairs. You're in the restaurant. It's a restaurant bar area upstairs. You want to use the bathroom. You have to ask what the door code is to get down to the stage area. Walk down the stairs. Now, from the doorway to the bathroom is a walk in front of people that are watching the show. You got to walk there. So I'm strolling past, and I was exposed to maybe a few seconds of John's act at random. I picked just a random time during that. And what do you think he was talking about? And this maniac with tiny little hands, this miserable man. I'm like, okay, so I guess he's doing some Trump material. Woo! Cutting edge. Cutting edge. I don't know. There just seems to come a time where you just fall out. You fall out as far as being able to get up there and do political humor like that. I don't think John's very good. I don't think he's ever been a good stand-up. He knows how to do an interview with people. He's funny with when writers give him news stories to make fun of. But then he got this thing, like I think he actually thought he was a news guy after a while. When everybody started pumping that whole narrative that, well, 50% of the youth of this country get their news from The Daily Show. And then he started thinking, oh, fuck, I'm doing the news now. So it was Jon Stewart's wacky version of the news that people really thought was the news. And he took himself a little seriously, I guess. I guess he took himself a little too seriously and got all upset if somebody would call him names or make fun of him. Maybe it was when I made fun of the World Trade Center thing that he did. Remember that? Remember that whole episode? Remember there used to be a couple of buildings here in New York City? It seems Jon Stewart came on to The Daily Show sometime after. I know like every show was canceled for a while. Comedy shows are just like, we can't do anything funny. Trade Center, terrorism. So I guess when Jon Stewart came back or something, he was talking about how his apartment window, he could look out and he used to see the World Trade Center. And it's gone now. But in its place, because it's gone now, he can now see a clear view of the Statue of Liberty. And as he was saying this, he's crying. And I'm watching going, oh, fuck, stop it. God, stop, please. There he was. Fag. Because I'm just like, I don't know. It was a sad time, believe me. But when that camera goes on, you better buck up. See Walter Cronkite? Brr. John F. Kennedy is dead. That's it. That's what he did. Little wipe, back to the news.